Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in for part 4 of What Was I Thinking? For those who don't know me, my name is Brian Hoffmeister. I'm an artist living in Vietnam currently. I've been living in Asia for now 2.5, going on 3 years. And I focus mostly on geometric art right now. I work mostly on paper because it's very portable, and I've lived in 3 different cities in 3 years, and it's just nice to be able to take everything with me. So it's kind of been this goal of mine to demystify the art making process for a long time. When I was living in Chicago, I co-founded an event called Atomic Sketch Event, where artists make art live at a bar and people can watch them as they work and buy the work as it's finished. And the idea behind that was just to get people to see what making art is like, because a lot of people have no idea. So that's a little bit what my goal with my own videos is, although I feel like it's a little bit more intimate than Atomic Sketch, because I'm talking directly to you. I'm, kind of sharing ideas as they come. In a situation like that, I will not necessarily share things unless I know someone's listening, and I feel like if you're watching this video, you have an interest already. So I know that you want to hear what I have to say. It's been a kind of cool journey, and I hope that you feel like you've learned a little bit. I realized that there was a lot of interspersed information that may be extraneous, but I felt like it was kind of an interesting idea to do a video where I just talked about whatever I was thinking while I was working. In the future, I probably won't do videos that are so long and kind of rambling. So if you like the idea of what you've seen, please like and subscribe, because I think as I move forward, I'm going to get more and more focused on what my videos are about. And I'm going to hopefully keep some of that humor and interesting, side ideas in there. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the rest of this video, and I'll see you around.
So I didn't finish this in my first sitting, so I'm wearing different clothes, and I actually changed my whole setup because I thought this would be better, and I think now it's a little bit better for various reasons. But I am almost finished. I just have to complete this cascading, falling kind of thing, and it's pretty close. And I haven't really looked at it since yesterday, so I'm looking at it now, trying to gauge what I feel needs to happen. Right off the bat, I feel like more density needs to happen here, and maybe just a little bit more on this side. So that's what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to try and sort of add more density to where the shape would be, and that's just an impulse. I don't know. Again, I don't know what the physics would be if this thing existed in the world. So I'm not sure if it's the right thing to do, but it's just my gut instinct when I look at it. So that's what I'm doing. So I've done a number of these with this cascading, falling lines, and I sometimes think about what is the best approach to creating a truly random feeling, chaotic, sampling of line measurements, and I still haven't really come up with one. And I think it goes back to the human ability to find patterns in things, even if patterns aren't intentionally there, they emerge. And So like I notice, like for example, when I look at this, I see like this line and this line and this line, like they're parallel. And I don't know if I made them in succession originally or if I made them like completely at different times, but it like makes me think, oh, I see, but the pattern of what I was doing. So I try to not be too, I don't know, intentional and more just like wherever my eye goes and I see something that looks a little empty, I try and add something to it. But then I do things like try to, like for example, I'll go in a relative spiral, but like in different locations, so that I'm mimicking the spiral of the actual shape, but doing the location of the line in more random places. So that's just kind of like an idea of how I choose my line placement. And again, it's always like, when is there enough? When is it not enough? And that's like the most challenging thing in this technique. I think it's a safe assumption to say that the density down here should be like matching almost like this density, because that's the densest thing, and like if these lines are accumulating down here, then the density should be kind of equal. So I think I'm gonna like avoid this for a little while and like just focus on creating some density down here. And sorry, I keep coughing. Another thing to think about is like the general orientation of these lines are going to be flat, so they're going to have some variation, but in general they're like going to be just flat lines. But I do want to make it varied so that it's interesting visually without it looking too artificial. So by the time I publish this video, I will have just published my permutations video, which is the sort of slideshow of 128 pieces. It was kind of my most elaborate and, well, not kind of, it has been to date the most elaborate and sort of ambitious video I've created. So if you haven't already watched it, check it out, because I don't think I'm going to make anything like it again, because it's just such an anomaly. I think my videos will tend to be more like this, where I'm talking about a specific subject or piece. So check it out. If I haven't already mentioned it, please comment, please like, subscribe. I'm very new to this, and comments I think are invaluable for understanding why anyone who does watch me enjoys themselves, what you want to see more of, what you identify with, what you don't identify with, anything really at this point. very helpful, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to, pay attention to me for a little while. And if you find any value or entertainment in what I'm doing, please, do the thing, hit that button. I think that once this starts getting more dense, the more upright ones that are small make more sense. They are sort of propping up one another, which I think is kind of cool. That's one thing that's kind of cool about surrealistic imagery is you're creating your own sort of physical theories, like physical law theories. Like, how would this object behave if it were real, if it were a thing? And I don't know, something about that appeals to me. I used to be a lot more into, writing for one thing, but specifically science fiction and thinking about other worlds and how we take for granted everything about our experience in the world. And if you think about what, for example, alien life develops as, we often hear the word carbon-based life form, which is all living things on Earth, I think, are carbon-based life forms. So I never understood why they would say carbon-based life form. And so I imagine what would a helium-based life form be like, or a whatever. And I realized that I don't know enough about chemistry to theorize what those things are, but I just thought I've often been attracted to thinking about everything that we don't understand in the universe. And so I feel like in a way that way of thinking somewhat prepares me for when I do something like this, it feels very natural to me to create this grouping of sticks, and I just think, oh, how would these sticks interact with one another visually, and how would they exist, I guess, for lack of a better phraseology. Alright, so recently my friend, a friend of mine who was in Singapore, who's also an artist, who I've mentioned before, recommended a YouTube art channel, and I haven't looked at it yet, but I plan on looking at that later today. I don't follow enough art channels, mostly because I don't know where to look specifically. I often think I'm more of a creator than a consumer, so it's hard for me to get in the mindset of a consumer and search for what I want to watch and stuff. But I'm trying to curate that now. So if anyone has any suggestions of cool art channels, and it doesn't have to be creators in terms of someone who makes art. It could be someone who is a critic or a curator or a gallery owner or any of that, because it's all interrelated. And I'm going to erase these faint lines just to see if they're affecting my sort of vision. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but having a brush to clear off eraser shavings is super essential. It is number one, if you happen to have anything on your hands like that could smudge, that's a problem. If you use any kind of ink or paint that's wet and you think it's dry but it really isn't, and you go like that, it's ruined. A brush is far less likely to disturb like subtly wet things. And it has to be a brush that you never use for painting. I mean, I use this once in a while, but never when I plan on needing it. Just because I love how like terrible these bristles are. This is like a really, really cheap paintbrush I bought in China, like for 10 cents or something like that. So it's great for wanting to create like a really chaotic brush stroke. But it's I use it for mostly for cleaning my eraser shavings. So sort of the really clear delineation between here and here was starting to bug me, so I wanted to add some density close to that edge, so it just looked a little less forced. It's looking almost there. I feel like there's something I'm missing and I'm not seeing it right now, and which makes me think I need to take a break again. But it might just be a short one. Okay, so another technique I have for when I'm trying to get some detached perspective about a piece I'm working on is to take a photo of it and like fully edit it, like crop it so that all that you see is the image itself, and kind of get some detachment away from it without any distraction around it. And that's what I did. And one thing I noticed is that it's almost too dense around the perimeter or the body of the thing, and then there's this area right above the umbrella that's like not dense enough. Because if you think about it, it'd be like hitting the umbrella, bouncing off and then going down. And so there should be like a little bit more concentration right here. So that's what I'm going to focus on for a little bit, and hopefully not go overboard, but definitely just need a little bit more. So that's what we're doing. So I noticed this like little curve on this line. No one might ever notice that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another line that will just make it disappear, because I kind of didn't like that. So I guess I'm getting to the nitty-gritty, kind of like seeing anything that like pops out in my vision of looking incongruous, which to me signals that I'm very close to being done. Yeah, so I definitely need to glue that before I accidentally do something I'll regret. So I'm going to show you my technique for gluing, kind of like once something's already glued. It requires like two tools. I have this, which is like my all-purpose scratch tool. I test my paint markers and pens and gel pens on it to make sure the flow is right. And then if I need to make calculations or something, I do this. But what I do is I just put like a little dab on the edge of this, small drop and like kind of like spread it out, because you only need like the smallest hint. And then with a separate tool, I lift it. And then I just touch both of them to each other. There. So that should be good. That way you get enough glue on there that there's some on the surface, but it's not so much that when you press down, it like squeezes out the edges, which is something you don't want to happen. Because then you know, people see the glue and it takes them out of the illusion, and that's like, you know, not ideal. So notice this here too. I also just have to hope that the glue is on here enough that I am actually getting anything accomplished. Because every once in a while, this glue is like not. Yeah, see, I'm not even sure that was enough. But it seems to be holding, so that's good. And then I have like 3 different kinds of erasers. I have this one for erasing big areas, and I have this one for kind of more precision erasing. And I see like a little dot next to this, so I just want to get that. And sometimes these dots are like imperfections in the paper, which is always frustrating, especially when I notice them after a piece is complete or something like that. But you know, it's just the nature of the garment, as my friend John used to say. But it's just a natural thing that occurs in paper during the manufacturing process, so you can't really fault the paper for it, and you definitely can't fault the artist unless, you know, I have considered not using paper when it has a blemish, and if there is a blemish, I check both sides, and if I could use the other side, then I do that. A lot of times I just think, well, it adds to the character of the piece, and if the buyer doesn't like it, I mean, it's visible, you know, in the image. Like, I don't Photoshop them out or anything like that, so it's not like I'm trying to hide it. So I need to sign, and you know, on most of my work I just sign in the bottom right corner, or like in my permutations, like right about here. But on the collage pieces I've been changing where I sign, because I feel like I don't want it to necessarily distract, and I don't want it to be mistaken for something else. So I want it to neither be a distraction nor be like mistaken for like a scribble or something else. So I think, so I also sign my signature on a 90-degree angle. So maybe I'll create for it, and then just sign it here. There. Alright. So that is this piece finished. This will be permutation 508, I believe. But don't quote me on it until I at my... Oh, and one more thing I have to do. I did not do the last connecting lines along here, so we'll do that now. So all of these points are not connected except for the top two. So this one I'm a little more careful about in terms of how quickly I approach going around in a circle. If you look at my previous time-lapse videos, it looks like I'm doing this process very quickly, but you can tell in real time that I'm moving relatively slow. So if I mess up at this point, it's like, it's more obvious.